Now, let's come to some of the key reforms that the government has undertaken. Now, the reforms include a number of things. The establishment of the Ghana Gold Board. I mean, you've heard this, to regulate everything, established in April, about just 3 months. But, they said they have contributed significantly to the changes that we are seeing here. The 24-hour economy, which was launched in July 2025. And we are going to be seeing the impact of these things later on this year and from next year, because the impact is not really significant for now. The Big Push program, for instance, again, was also announced. And this is the flagship initiative for various or for massive infrastructure development. And they are looking at funding these with oil revenue and mineral royalties. And that is crucial, because if we can use these oil revenue and mineral royalties to fund some of these projects, that is good. But there is a downside to this, because what it means then is that when the city appreciates again and there is a reduction in the prices of oil and minerals on the international market, or there is a reduction in the production output, then our big push thing may become big pause. So government must also find a way on the secondary funding source where there are shortages from these oil revenue and mineral royalties. But it's something that the government is seeking to look at, and the parliamentary approval is being sought for these multi-year commitments in line with Section 33 of the Public Financial Management Act. Then reorganization of the road fund, to serve its main purpose, and uncapping of selected statutory funds. This is very important. My only concern about some of these things, although they were good, was the issue in relation to the Mahama Care, Ghana Medical Care Trust, Mahama Cares. You see, I don't know, but I don't think we need an independent fund to be able to handle other diseases not covered under the National Health Insurance Scheme, like cancer, advanced diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, chronic kidney disease, and stroke. We could have just do all of these under the NHIL, right? Because it's about health. But Mahama Cares, Mahama Cares. Now, the minority in parliament have really kicked against that name, that, hey, if it is Ghana Medical Care Trust, we are okay with it. But attaching Mahama Care to it, that is where the issue is. And one thing you need to understand is that anytime certain policies like this are attached with the name of the president like that, when a new administration comes, they are likely to totally abolish the whole thing. And that is what we are likely to face. Because if it should just be maintained in the National Health Insurance Scheme. Now you have a different trust, different people going to be managing that. But I don't know. They know what is best for them to be able to do. Then Ghana Labor Export Program, significantly. I mean, people are seeking greener pastures outside of Ghana. And you've heard a lot of people traveling outside of Ghana, going into various parts of the world, and they tend to slaves. They are not paid well. And so now what government is doing is to institutionalize that scheme so that there is an official relationship between Ghana and the United Arab Emirates and other countries. So that, we are sending people, and the people are going to be employed gainfully, and nobody can inflict any pain or mistreat them because there is an agreed payment, terms of services. And so this is a good program that we're going to be seeing its impact in later years. Then the National Codes Program, government has spoken about this well. Nursing training allowance. This is one of the things that I don't know why government is still doing this. In my opinion, we don't need to pay nurses. We don't need to give nursing training allowance, teacher training allowance. No. People should be, it should rather be a targeted scheme rather than a universal thing, so that it is given to support people who will really need it. Or there should be a scholarship or bursary scheme or financial aid scheme rather than this nursing training allowance thing. Because what are we saying? Are we saying that nursing and teacher trainees are people we need to reward for going to school? How about the engineering people? How about the university, people going into the traditional tertiary. So, in my opinion, this is not something that should maintain. This should be scrapped totally. Now, I know people are going to be coming for me in respect of this, but this should be scrapped because that money could rather be channeled into something else. Because remember, people have finished this teacher training, people have finished this nursing training, and they are now sitting at home because government doesn't have money to employ them. There are less health facilities available to absorb them. So what will it profit us to pay teacher training allowance, to train more teachers, to train more nurses, but they will finish school and they can't get a job to do? What do we get on that? So we need to have a modified system that is used in Germany, in other parts of the world, where it is more of a targeted thing rather than the universal approach, where we are adopting the scholarship or financial aid strategy rather than this whole allowance thing, which so many people are going into some of these things, not necessarily because they want to really do the job, but they are enjoying the allowances. So it has to be redefined, in my opinion. So these are a couple of the issues that we need to understand. Now let's look at how some of these things should be reflecting in our ICAG professional qualification examination. Number one, public sector accounting and finance. Certainly, a couple of things we need to understand relating to the Public Financial Management Amendment Act 2025, Act 1136, introduces critical elements such as a debt rule to reduce the debt to GDP ratio to 45% by 2034. That's a significant thing. And an operational rule for an annual primary surplus of at least 1.5% of GDP on a commitment basis, and legislate the establishment of an independent fiscal council. So these are a couple of amendments that we need to be mindful of, which the review also highlighted on. Then the issues in respect of budgeting, government budgeting, revenue and expenditure management. This is where we are looking at recognition of revenue in accordance with IPSAS 23 and IPSAS 9, revenue from exchange transaction and revenue from non-exchange transaction. The review also offer a detailed breakdown of tax and non-tax revenue. But most importantly, one of the things that we saw was the government paid more in terms of the payroll. And the government mentioned, the Minister of Finance mentioned that through their work, there were a lot of ghost names on the payroll. So a couple of things here that we need to understand. So the Public Financial Management Act playing a key role, fundamental legal framework for public financial management, budgeting, financial reporting, and accountability in Ghana, showing a couple of things: governance and oversight in public financial management, external accountability mechanism, monitoring, fiscal rule compliance, expenditure control, procurement processes and compliance, prevention of arrears accumulation, cash flow, and management. All of these are relevant issues